1957. A bedroom with a window cracked and the curtains barely shifting. A woman sits at a walnut vanity mirror. The lid is off a porcelain jar of Pond's cold cream. The smell is clean, faintly medicinal, cool on the fingertips. She works the cream in small upward circles, jawline to temples. She has done this every night for 20 years. Her skin is flawless. She is 51. There is no serum on that vanity, no retinol, no vitamin C dropper. Just one jar with a metal lid and a woman who trusted what her mother taught her. These are 15 beauty tricks that were standard practice in American homes for the better part of the 20th century. Every one of them worked. And not a single one survived the arrival of an industry that went from selling a woman 5 products that lasted months to selling her 50 products that lasted weeks. Cold cream became a 7-step routine. A single jar of Vaseline became a $20 eye serum, a $30 lip treatment, and a $40 brow gel. These tricks were not replaced because they stopped working. They were replaced because they cost too little. Number 15. The nightly cold cream ritual. Every night before bed, women across America massaged cold cream into their faces. They tissued it off in long upward sweeps. They went to sleep with skin that felt like silk. The 2 dominant jars were Pond's and Noxema. A jar of Pond's cost 35 cents in 1952. Noxema had a medicinal eucalyptus and camphor sting that tingled on contact. You spread it using little spiral motions, always working upward, not too rough. No need to pull or push the skin around. Cotton balls sat in a glass dish beside the jar. The tissue came away gray with the day's dust and makeup. The face underneath was clean, soft, and cool. One woman on a collector's forum wrote about her aunt. She was 85 when she died, and had not a single wrinkle. 1 jar, 1 step every night. That was the entire routine, and it outlasted everything that came after it. Today, there is a growing movement online of women returning to cold cream. They call it skincare minimalism. They are spending less and seeing better results. The industry does not know what to do with them. Number 14. Pin curls set every single night. Women wrapped sections of damp hair around their fingers, coiled them flat against the scalp, and pinned each one in place before bed. They slept in them. By morning, the curls were set. A box of DeLong bobby pins, a spray bottle of water, maybe a nickel's worth of setting lotion. One woman recalled how she simply lived through the 50s and the 60s, when pin curls were the mode of the day. As a small girl, her mother curled her hair with rags. Then, as she got older, with bobby pins, a silk scarf tied over the whole arrangement, the soft click of metal pins on porcelain when she took them out at dawn, hair that held its shape for a week without a cord, a plug, or a can of aerosol. No salon appointment, no heat damage, no $90 curling iron, just a woman's hands and the patience to do something right before she turned out the light. The average American woman now spends over $200 a year on heat styling tools alone. Her grandmother spent $2 a year on bobby pins and got better curls. Number 13. 100 brush strokes before bed. The standard advice of the era was plain. Brush your hair 100 strokes a day. Most women did it at the vanity before bed, counting under their breath. A natural boar bristle brush, not nylon, not plastic. The bristles pulled the scalp's natural oils from root to tip. A daughter sat on the edge of the bed watching her mother count, 57, 58. The hair developed a sheen that no silicone serum has ever matched. Ladies' Home Journal printed the advice every spring. Grandmother passed the brush down when the handle wore smooth. 100 strokes is not a beauty tip. It is 10 minutes of stillness at the end of a long day. The brush was an excuse to sit down, breathe, and do one slow thing in a world that had not yet learned to rush. There is something worth noticing there. The best beauty routines of that era doubled as rest. They forced a woman to stop moving, to sit, to breathe. That was not an accident. That was wisdom. Number 12. The apple cider vinegar hair rinse. After shampooing, women poured a cup of water mixed with 2 TBSP of apple cider vinegar over their hair as a final rinse. They did not wash it out. Heinz apple cider vinegar cost 23 cents a bottle in 1954. The vinegar sealed the cuticle flat and light bounced off it like glass. The smell faded in minutes. The shine lasted all week. Your grandmother washed her hair once a week, and it looked better than hair wash daily with $40 worth of product. Nobody could patent vinegar, and that was the real problem. Number 11. The rosewater and glycerin toner. Women mixed rosewater with a few drops of glycerin and sometimes witch hazel. They applied it with a cotton pad after cleansing morning and night. Rosewater from the pharmacy cost 20 cents a bottle. Glycerin cost 15 cents. The rosewater calmed eczema and irritation. The antioxidant slowed fine lines and early signs of aging. The scent of roses on a cotton pad at 6 o'clock in the morning. 3 ingredients mixed in a clean glass bottle on the kitchen counter. No label, no marketing campaign. Just something that worked. Today, the average American woman uses 12 skincare products containing over 160 synthetic chemicals before she leaves the house. Her grandmother used 3. Her skin looked better at 70. Number 10. Vaseline on everything. A single jar of Vaseline petroleum jelly served as lip balm, eyelash conditioner, eyebrow tamer, cuticle softener, and moisturizer for rough elbows and heels. Placing cucumber slices on the eyelids and adding Vaseline reduced puffiness and dark circles. Hollywood insiders say Bette Davis had a fondness for this treatment. A jar cost 19 cents in 1955, and it lasted 6 months. One product, 5 uses. The entire eye area handled by a single scoop on a fingertip. Today, that same jar still costs under $4. The industry's answer was to split it into 5 separate products at $15 each. The jar did not change. The marketing did. Number 9. The lemon juice brightener. Fresh lemon juice diluted in water was applied to the face to lighten dark spots and even skin tone. Applied to the hair before sitting in the sun, it created natural golden highlights. Rita Hayworth would slather coconut oil on her hair and leave it for 15 minutes. Then she rinsed with water mixed with lemon juice. Girls sat on the porch steps in July with streaks of gold that looked like they had always been there. The citric acid acted as a mild chemical exfoliant, alpha hydroxy acid, the same ingredient that now costs $65 in a laboratory bottle. The lemon cost a nickel. Nobody called it a chemical peel. They called it a lemon, and it worked. Number 8. The Tony Home Permanent. A box perm kit that let women give themselves or their daughters a permanent wave at the kitchen table. No salon visit required. Tony introduced the Home Permanent in the late 1940s, and it flew off the shelves. Which twin has the Tony? The stinging chemical smell of the waving solution, tiny pink plastic rods, end papers, a timer ticking on the kitchen counter. Many young girls of the 50s dreaded certain times of year. Back to school, Easter, that meant mom decided it was time for a Tony. The solution dripped down the back of your neck. You held still. You did not complain. And when the rods came out and the neutralizer was rinsed, the curls were there, tight, springy, lasting weeks. A $2 box and an afternoon in the kitchen gave a woman what used to cost a $5 salon visit. Self-reliance smelled like ammonia, and nobody minded. Number 7. Maybelline Cake Mascara and the Tiny Brush. Before mascara came in a tube with a wand, it came in a small, flat case as a dry cake. You wet a tiny brush, rubbed it across the cake, and applied it to your lashes one stroke at a time. Thomas Lyle Williams watched his sister Mabel applying a mixture of coal and Vaseline to her eyebrows and eyelashes. He named the company by combining Mabel and Vaseline. Maybelline sold cake mascara in a shade called Velvet Black, in a case the size of a pocket watch. You used a drop of water if you were being proper. You built the lashes up layer by layer, no clumps, no spider legs. If any clump appeared, you separated each lash with a pin. That little cake lasted months. The brush never broke. A woman and her mascara had a relationship. She did not replace it. She wore it down. There was no throwing it away after 3 months because a beauty article told her bacteria was building up inside the tube. The cake was open to the air. It dried between uses. It lasted as long as it lasted, and that was usually half a year or more. Number 6. The Egg White and Honey Kitchen Facial. 1 egg white whipped stiff mixed with a teaspoon of honey. Apply it to the face and leave it until it dries tight. Rinse with cool water for an instant lift. The egg white tightens as it dries. You feel your skin pulling, contracting, smoothing. The honey is antibacterial. a natural humectant that draws moisture into the skin. The whole treatment cost less than a dime. Mix it in a teacup and sit in the kitchen for 15 minutes with a stiff white face. When you rinse it off, the mirror shows a woman who looks 5 years younger. No appointment, no needle, everything she needed was already in the icebox. The kitchen was her laboratory. Number 5. The beer rinse for body and shine. Flat beer poured through the hair after washing gave it volume and body that no mousse or spray has ever equaled. You opened a Pabst or a Schlitz the night before and left it on the counter to go flat. The proteins and B vitamins in the malt coated each strand. You poured it through wet hair over the kitchen sink, worked it in, and did not rinse. The smell faded as it dried. What remained was hair with weight movement and a shine that caught the light like polished wood. A can of beer cost 15 cents. A beauty trick so effective that professionals still use it today, so cheap that nobody could sell it. Number 4. Max Factor Pancake and the Color Harmony System. Max Factor developed a foundation called Pancake. It came in a solid cake form and was applied with a damp sea sponge. It concealed imperfections under a transparent matte finish. Women were stealing it from film sets and wearing it at home before it even went to market. You dampened a sea sponge, swirled it across the cake, and pressed it onto the skin. One pass. Flawless. The system matched your foundation, powder, rouge, and lipstick to your natural coloring. Brunette, redhead, blonde, brown hat. You did not guess. The company told you exactly which shades were yours. One compact, one sponge, 2 minutes. Today she stands in a drugstore aisle facing 300 options and no guidance at all. The global cosmetics industry is now valued at over $600 billion. It has never been harder to know what to buy, and it has never been easier to spend money on things that do not work. Number 3. The Powder Compact Touch-Up. Women almost always carried a compact with them. After lunch, before a meeting, in the ladies' room mirror, a quick press of powder to the nose and chin. 5 seconds. Done. A gold-tone case, a tiny mirror inside the lid, a velour puff holding pressed powder, the soft click when it opened, the quiet snap when it closed. Women checked their reflection at restaurant tables, in department store mirrors, in the rear view before walking into church. It was not vanity. It was maintenance. The same way a man straightened his tie, the compact said something about how a woman moved through the world. She was prepared. She was composed. That is not vanity. That is self-respect carried in a gold case that fit in the palm of her hand. Number 2. The Safety Pin Eyelash Separator. After applying mascara, women use the tip of a safety pin to separate each individual eyelash, removing clumps and creating a wide fanned-out effect. Audrey Hepburn's makeup artist, Alberto De Rossi, separated each eyelash with a safety pin after mascara. Not a lash comb, but a common sewing pin from the Notions drawer. You held it sideways and drew it through the lashes. The tip caught each strand and pulled them apart one at a time. The lashes fanned out like the bristles of a fine paintbrush. Women did this at the vanity, holding the pin close to the mirror, eyes wide open and a steady hand. Their daughters watched from the doorway and memorized every move. The best beauty tool of the 1950s was not sold in a store. It came from a sewing box. It required something no product can replace. Skill passed from one woman's hand to another. That is the part that hurts the most when you think about it. Not the tricks themselves, but the passing of them. The moment between mother and daughter that no brand can bottle or sell. Number 1. The lipstick rule. Never leave the house without it. A rule of thumb in the 1950s was plain and absolute. Never leave the house without lipstick. Revlon's Fire and Ice, Max Factor's Clear Red, a gold-toned tube that twisted up with a satisfying mechanical click. Applied in the hallway mirror on the way out the door. Blotted once on a tissue. The perfect lip print, like a signature. She reapplied after coffee, after lunch, after kissing the children goodbye at the school door. Elizabeth Taylor wore Max Factor Clear Red. Number 3. Your grandmother wore whatever Woolworths carried in her shade. The brand did not matter. The principle did. You did not face the world unfinished. The lipstick rule was never about beauty. It was about armor. It was about walking into any room and saying without a word, I am here. I am ready. That tube of lipstick cost 50 cents. What it gave her was worth everything. 15 tricks. Not one of them needed a Wi-Fi connection, a beauty blog, or a credit card. They needed cold cream, cotton, lemons, pins, and the belief that a woman already had everything she needed. Most of it already in her kitchen. These women were not behind. They were ahead. They solved every problem we are now paying $100 a month to solve. And they did it before breakfast. The women knew, we forgot. And somewhere right now, a daughter is sitting on the edge of a bed watching her grandmother open a jar of Pond's cold cream. The lid comes off, the smell fills the room, and without a word, the lesson begins again. If these timeless secrets changed how you see your beauty routine, please subscribe and like the channel. We are uncovering the elegance and wisdom that the modern industry tried to bury. Let's preserve the grace of the past. The next treasure of history will be revealed soon.